yes.
time it is going to happen. I'll somehow have to put it in the backlog and I'll see how I can get this done. And a lot of those situations have really put my job into a big question mark. But I think it was a good journey. It was.
With the new company I joined as a pre-sales head for IoT, but
Okay.
then there was a need for them to also look at the whole work that they do from a product management standpoint. That is when I told my boss I'll step in as also as a product leader for them. So in the process, I also said I'm going to pick up the nuances of product management, and that's what I'm doing. So all those webinars, training, interactions that I'm doing with the fellow product managers that I have on my network, it's actually helping me out.
Okay. Okay. I think pre-sales and kind of the growth part is becoming more popular in the product management field also. Like people
Correct.
are usually looking towards the person who actually has a sense of how things are sold to the customers and not just working
Yeah.
inside the company and prioritizing things and strategizing. It's more about how you are going towards customer and then when you are actually able to sell them. So kind of a thing. I really don't have much of my experience in sales side, but yes, I've done
Hmm.
coordination with the BD team in most of the products that I've worked on. So I
Okay.
kind of know
Okay.
the stress that they bear inside their heads. But yes, I think it is equally important for having developing the product. I think it is equally important. Nothing can really happen without the
So,
sales team in place.
so increasingly, I worked around the product management space. I'm not directly with it. So, done consulting. I work with product managers to actually help them with
Okay.
regards to understanding specific functionalities and all
Mm.
that, but
Mm.
never dealt with the role of a product manager per se. Now, this is giving me that opportunity, the move that I did. And I also thought it would also be useful for me to set a process from a product management standpoint. And the problem is because we are in the IoT space and we have a lot of hardware work that comes in. So it makes the whole product management journey a bit more complicated. So I'm actually in the process of reading this right now. Oh, sorry, it's a mirror thing, right? So
Yeah.
it's
No,
prototype to
I
product.
think yeah. I've heard of this book. It's like
So I've
because of in between lockdown, I'm not able to order a lot of the books that I have in my wish list. But otherwise, I was just planning like in the starting of March, I was trying to keep a bulk at my home in case we are going to have a
okay.
lockdown. But I was stuck in
No,
New
this
York, so I
this
didn't order.
this luckily arrived for me because I this was not available anywhere in India as a hard copy.
Okay.
So what I did was there's a website called Good World Books. So they are US
Okay.
based and they have a lot of these pre-used books. So these come from libraries and all that. So I had ordered for this book in January and it came on March 18th.
Okay. Okay. Lucky.
It was luckily, and now I've been sitting and reading, taking notes because it's a very nice guide if you really want to get into hardware product management. Because typically in software product management, one thing you really don't really have to worry is manufacturing,
Yeah.
and the other thing that you don't really have to worry is raw materials and inventory.
Right.
Now that actually changes the whole equation from a product management when you are actually in hardware.
Right.
So that's becoming very interesting for me right now.
Okay.
So, but then there is also the platform that we have
Mm.
at the company where I work, which right now is being done in a very ad hoc fashion. But I have a vision for it, which along with me, there is a product consultant, a very senior
Okay.
person with some 30 years of experience in product management. So, me and him, we are trying to build a product vision for the platform as
Okay.
to how the platform needs to work. So, the platform is a SaaS based platform.
Mm.
So, once we give the products to the customer, the hardware pieces, the hardware will connect to the platform and it will work.
Okay.
And there is a subscription fee, there is a lot of
Mm-hmm.
analytics that we are building into it. So that is a different thing so that's the reason why I was very uh, I was actually pulled towards working in product management. And I see this this is a very interesting field. So there are a lot of things I've done indirectly. Now I'm trying to collate all of them into a single thought process and
Right,
trying to build, or rather revisit my career in a different way.
right, right,
That's
right.
that's more like me now.
Right. I think I also personally enjoy the part of strategizing and ideation that comes as a part of the
Yeah,
product management. I mean, even if
yeah,
people don't call me product manager, like way back in, I think, 2017, when I was just working as a business analyst, 2016 to 17, I think. No, 2000,
okay.
yeah, somewhere around 2017. So I
Hmm,
was
hmm,
working as a business analyst and I was having no clue about product manager, but somehow I had those perspective of developing a product, which I was not
hmm.
realizing at that time because I really knew about this product management as a field itself or as a designation itself. But then when I moved purely into product management and called myself, okay, I'm now just going to focus on product manager. Being product manager, I'm going to work with companies whosoever needs a product manager, even if they don't have a
Correct,
product
right.
manager. So I started my journey, and gradually, as I moved towards being a product manager, I kind of got into the ideation part. I think the one part which is really ad hoc right now is the ideation and the strategy to put it together, right? We all talk about virality and
True.
everything, but it really doesn't happen overnight.
True.
It never is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
on the LinkedIn, I really come across a lot of posts that happens to be talking about virality, like you buy this course, you will be able to learn this or that. And
Yeah,
I'm I just like those posts. It's okay, like everybody is trying to spread awareness, which is good, but I think we really need a reality check right now, because when you're inside and you're working as a part of that product, the things changes. Like, it's not the way it has been
absolutely.
displaying so far on the internet right now. It never works that way.
Absolutely. Because I've I've been part of product implementations rather with banks. So when they implement core banking solutions, they're like huge enterprise solutions. When they go ahead and implement these,
Hmm.
the typical challenge what I've seen is when they do the initial requirement mapping. So they have a core product which is basically the basic functionality out of the box.
Okay.
And once the customization part comes in, that customization part is where I've seen ideation going haywire.
Right.
The so across the table, the customer is conveying something. Me as a business analyst has been interpreting something else. The product team is doing something else. It's just like there is that thing about requirements being seen. Is that elephant example, right?
Right. Right.
Blind people are touching the elephant, and some
Yeah. 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 I
uh,
remember. Yeah, I've seen that.
representation we used to have. So it was like that, and it's pretty weird. I mean, I think it happens even now.
Right.
The way I see it's still happening now.
Exactly.
So every product implementation that gets tracked is primarily because the requirements were not captured right,
Right.
or you have not really understood the features what the customer is expecting for.
Right.
And sometimes what happens is what I've seen is a sales team going ahead and telling the customer, "Arey, ye ho jayega." I'm like,
Exactly.
dude, how is it even
that is
possible?
that is happening very often than expected, actually. And when the sales team goes to the customer, they kind of experiment in their own ways. They kind of understand the product in
Yeah,
their own ways, and they probably
yeah.
keep their own case studies in front of them, and they make agreements about things that are just not there in the roadmap. Then me being a product manager, I have to handle those situations. That, okay, fine, now you have
Oh
guaranteed
yes.
them it is going to happen. I'll somehow have to put it in the backlog, and I'll see how I can get this done. And a lot of those situations have really put my job into a big question mark. But I think it was a good journey. It was a good journey so far. And the actual haywire that happens every day, and the kind of changes in the scenario that I see every day, is the kind of thing that I think I would love to do for next 10 or 20 years. I really enjoy that in some way or another way possible. It has given me a lot of case studies and a lot of perspective to put
True.
here and there. And I think I really appreciate the type of journey that I had so far. And I really wish that you, even coming to product management, I think will add a lot of value, because you already have that sales perspective.
I've been on the other side of the table.
Right. So you have been
Yeah.
on the other side of the table, and now you'll be here. I think you are going to be really awesome as a product manager.
No, so the other side of the table is not exactly the other side. I was not exactly into sales, so I was into pre-sales
Hmm.
consulting. So typically, what used to happen is when my sales team used to be on the ground, I used to very clearly warn them. The talk to the customer
Hmm.
about the features or what are we planning to build for the customer is not something which you're gonna do.
Right.
You just gonna sign where I ask you to sign. This
Hmm.
is a very clear expectation I used to set with the sales team. But the problem was the whole flow of conversation, they would just go with the flow and they'll just go ahead and
Right.
I will come out of the meeting and say, dude, what the fuck, man? Literally. Like, really? Yeah, तुमने तो तू दुबाने वाला है मेरे को. This is how the conversations
Right.
used to happen, and I would sometimes they were situations where I actually had to escalate it to their bosses, saying, "Dude, you guys are gonna put me in serious trouble.
Hmm.
The customer is not gonna ask you. The
Right.
customer is gonna ask me because for them, I'm the one who's implementing it for them.
Right.
So you need to understand."
Hmm.
So over a period in time, a lot of education had to be done with
Hmm.
the sales team, telling them,
Hmm.
"Dude, these are absolute no for you to talk
Hmm.
unless I tell you." And
Right.
even to agree on a specific feature to be added as part of a roadmap, I would not do it without talking to the core team
Right.
because I would not know what is going to be the impact that is going to have the whole product as a simple change request that you're going to ask. It
Right.
might have a cascading effect in the product.
Hmm.
How would I do that? So that took a lot of time. But like you said, right, being on the other side of the table, now coming to this side, there are a lot of things I would easily understand. This is,
Right.
and it's going to add a
Relatable.
lot of value. Yeah.
Now it's
Yeah.
going to become relatable. Now you will
Yeah. Yeah.
feel like, acha, this happened that
ऐसा
way.
हुआ था एक बार.
Ah. Yeah,
That'll
this
be
is
fun.
going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be fun. I think you can definitely write a book then. It's going to be helpful for all the people who might be having the same transition like you in the future. It's going to be helpful for them.
That that is the idea with which I've started writing blogs. So that
Hmm.
see, I was not really comfortable with the idea of writing blogs. I I've been writing a lot of proposals and a lot of technical documentation, but uh, writing something which someone is able to relate to as a story was a very difficult thing for me. So at
Hmm.
some point in time, 4 months back, I decided I think I should do something like this. So that's when I started blogging. Now the frequencies, at least once in a week, I put one blog out.
Okay.
And so with that push, I was able to do two blogs last week. So this week already one is out.
Right.
So I already have a couple of additional requests coming in, more from a pre-sales perspective.
Okay.
So how do I see it different in a startup? And because I come from Cognizant, so
Hmm.
they were like, why don't you compare both of those? I'm like, yeah, I need to really think about it. But then yeah, so that is so that is the idea. I mean, gradually at some point in time, I might be able to probably put in a small book of sorts in
Hmm.
terms of what pre-sales is all about, what you shouldn't be doing, and how product. And so the whole cycle, right from getting the sale or
Hmm.
right from the opportunity creation to a delivery, I can actually write the whole story. Let
Hmm.
me see. Long time. So it's something which I've been thinking, but it'll take some time for me.
Yeah. Okay. So I wish you all the best for that. I think it's going to be very
Hey, thank
interesting
you
to
again.
see the journey also. Okay. So
Yeah,
starting with the mind map that we have already
yeah,
initiated in our conversation about the article that you are
yeah,
about to write and the relation of the product areas which are going to be affected with COVID-19, right? So we are going
yeah,
to do the mind map, and I saw the first version. So we are going to redo that because or you can open that file that you have already done and you can explain me the areas that you have put and your perspective
yeah. I
with
can do that. Yeah.
yeah.